Well, well, well. You know, today I am reminded of when I made that video trying to explain to everybody about how Project Esther actually had absolutely nothing to do with anti Semitism in the US of A and in the Palestinians in any kind of way. And boy, baby, those who voted for Daddy and are Jewish came for me. Yes, they did, honey, because I guess they believed exactly the words that they read on the Heritage Foundation, because I guess they could not see between the lines quite clearly at the propaganda that was in their face. Oh my goodness. I guess you could call this video a FAFO moment for the Jews who voted for the Orange Fool. And not just them either. But for all the Christians out there today that believe everything that J.D. Vance has to say when it comes to all this anti-Christian shit that is going on in the US of A and how they're going to come after these anti-Christian terrorist organizations today, yes, this is going to be a FAFO for you too. Both that type of Christian and that type of Jew. I'm sorry that I'm going to have to do this for you today. And I hate being right, by the way. I wish I was wrong on most days, but hell, fascism is at play. Yes, the crazy-eyed guy from the FBI, you know, no-neck go-to-hell Roach Motel Cash Patel that still thinks, even though he's a brown man, that he's the member of the Klan. You see, he decided he was going to cut ties with the Southern Poverty Law Center and the Anti-Defamation League after conservative complaints? The important part here, dear, is after conservative complaints. Now, you may not know this, but I'll tell you expeditiously that the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, has been in this nation for somewhere around 90 years, dear. And the reason they got started and the whole purpose of them was to rid this nation of anti-Semitism, dear. Now, it's grown much larger from there. They don't just investigate and look into and track and keep data on homegrown terrorists who are anti-Semitic, dear, but they also do that for Christians here. And you may think, because of your racist hate, that the Southern Poverty League, dear, only helps out with civil rights for people who are black here, but you would be wrong about that too. And it seems to me that if I was trying to rid this nation of anti-Semitism and anti-Christian views, the last thing that I would do would be stripping away our ties to the Southern Poverty Law Center and the Anti-Defamation League, since they just so happen to defend the Jew and the Christian too. It would also be counterintuitive to stop altogether investigating homegrown terrorism, dear, wouldn't it? And considering the fact within the Department of Homeland Security, the guy that they decided would be really good at looking at terrorism is a really young guy, you know, the alt-right eyebrow guy from the Heritage Foundation? Oh, that's right. One of the guys that was appointed directly from the Heritage Foundation as an intern there and given the job to come after terrorism in the US of A and extremism is from the Heritage Foundation, who doesn't really believe in protecting the Jew, and all the money that has to do with funding about anti-Semitism and anti-Christian views is gone, baby. You would think that the Jewish American would know enough about their history to remember how the Holocaust started, baby, with a culture war. That's right. I guess y'all forgot. First, the Hitler regime started a culture war about sexuality. You know, like transgenders, dear, and gays and such, and sexual identities. Yes, they started a culture war like the one we're living in today. And that was the way they made all those other Jews just look away and go about their day because they thought they were protecting their moral ideals from just this one little group of these sexually corrupt Jews. But then they came for women and children and Jews of all sorts, baby. They didn't really care about your sexuality. So it just blows my mind how you cannot see that you are on the list too with the new regime here, baby. They played in your face, hoping you would not take your dollars away, while they are currently stripping all law enforcement from looking into anti-Semitism and anti-Christian values too. Just extremism in general, dear. While they preach to you that extremism is here, they are no longer investigating extremism. While they shove it down your throat that the problem in the US of A is extremism today. Because the real problem in the US of A is not between me and you, it's us and them, as in the 1%ers, friend, who have their claws in our democracy. And it's better for them to rake in the money if we are currently at each other's throats. And it's the perfect time, by the way, for him to rid the US of A of any Jewish ideals. I mean, you have to understand chaos, honey. You have to understand how chaos works. And the world is in chaos right now, and vultures take advantage of that. And they play all sides of the room, dear. All sides. And while they're playing all sides of the room, me and you, we're the ones that suffer. Hate to be right, but I tried to tell you so. That Project Esther was really a blueprint on how to come into smaller local governments with the ideas of anti-Semitism and hate in order to wipe some shit off of a fucking plate and put their white Christian nationalist ideals in place. So, just like history has taught us before, while they're convincing you to look at a transgender today, it will be a future day that they'll be okay with locking a Jew and a Christian away. Just know that. Just know that.